I went through your Ashwathama website recently. I found it a little interesting, but I have a few questions. Again, my first question to you is, why is it important? So, can you start this conversation by explaining what made you basically go deep into the concept of making myths? Like, why are you being such a prankster, and should anybody trust you? You're the guy who makes up stories. Is that true?
Uh, I don't know. I mean, I make stories, but that should eventually come to the point that you should trust me or not. I don't know about that. I think towards the end of this video, you should decide for yourself. But the project title is actually Forgotten Immortals, and it's kind of a larger inquiry that I have embarked on in the past 7 years,
Yeah.
and in particular since 2000, 7 to 8 years. So now it's 2021, and I started it in 2012. And what I've been doing is I've been going around places in India, and travel around and look for and discover the seven Chiranjeevi. According to Hindu mythology, there are seven Chiranjeevi, सात चिरंजीवी है जिसमें अश्वत्थामा, महाबली, हनुमान, परशुराम, साधु मार्कंडेय, वेदव्यास. The project is a very larger, as I said, like it's been going on since 2012, and I see that as an inquiry that will be maybe lifelong. And so the first chapter that I've begun to kind of produce artifacts and produce things that I have, as I said, I've been researching since this long. So it is about the first immortal that I've been researching, who's Ashwathama
Okay.
from the epic of Mahabharata. And Ashwathama was the son of Dronacharya, who was, famously, famously in the story of Mahabharata, that while the battle was going on, in order to basically make the Kauravas lose the battle, Pandav
They'll-
asked the commander in chief, who was Dronacharya,
Yeah.
to Yudhishthir goes to Dronacharya and says that Ashwathama is dead,
He's dead. His son.
and his son. And
Yeah.
by and the reason for saying this was a manipulative statement in the first place, and it
Manipulated
was,
tweet.
famously the half lie, the
Yeah.
half truth, or
Yeah.
whatever you want to call it,
Yeah.
that Ashwathama was definitely dead, but it was not this Ashwathama that we are talking about.
It
It
was
was
the
one
elephants.
of the elephants who was named Ashwathama.
No, yeah.
So the beginning of Ashwathama's story is the beginning of the idea of truth
I have a question.
for me.
Why is it important? Why is it important to have these myths of people being immortals? Like, how does it help people psychologically?
I think it's an innate human. It's an innate human kind of desire to remain immortal, to remain forever, because whatever we do,
Yeah.
we know at one point of time in our lives, like we understand that life is limited and life is fragile.
Yeah.
And also, there is this Latin word which is called memento mori, right? Like it's the realization of our death. And it is across cultures. It is across cultures that this idea that we will be no more, but what will happen post us? And that's the beginning of mythology in all cultures around the world. That because the only thing that we cannot say for sure is what happens after death. What happens after this mortal remain of our body? Kind of, we are done with the body. Then what happens to the body?
Yeah, I can tell you. I,
So
I can tell you what
so
happens
what's
after
happening
death.
is mythology is speculation.
I know.
Sorry, yeah, go ahead.
I can tell you what happens after death.
Then
life
you are creating a mythology.
life goes on. For
Yeah,
the
the show
person
must
who's
go on.
for the purpose who's dead, the show goes on. No, for the purpose who's dead. But I kind of find it I I kind of find it amazing that you are doing a project that involves specifically make fabricating half truths and fabricating concepts, and you plant ideas in society as realistically as possible. You validate them via websites. I believe you're also doing something with students. Can you tell us what you're doing with students?
Mhm. So So I've been teaching workshops at design institutes, and in particular, this one workshop kind of dealt with this idea of myth making in the age of fake news. So really putting the context of myth making as a process, as a as a creative process, as a creative endeavor